Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Secret Base figure preview video. Now before we begin, I do have to say a huge thank you, as always, to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person and snapping these absolutely breathtaking high-res pics. Show him some love in the comments below, because without Ryan, this series literally wouldn't be possible. Now if you are looking to pre-order the X-Men Days of Future Past 1973 version of Wolverine, an absolute mouthful, the link for that is in the description below to toyswonderland.com. They have 12-month installment plans and a points-based reward system. This was the figure that took me by surprise the most out of all of the announcements. Days of Future Past came out a long time ago. It's an absolutely awesome film, and this might just be one of the most jam-packed MMS figures that I have ever seen. Not just in terms of accessories, but also in terms of advancements. More on that though in just a second. Now there are two versions. You have a deluxe and a standard. For me, it's deluxe or bust. You're getting the Sentinel Gatling gun and an incredible diorama display base. The Sentinel arm is either some really nice set dressing or something you can actually have Wolverine interact with. In the promo pics, they actually have him stabbing his claws through that Gatling gun. It's nicely painted and very well sculpted. Now, sitting down here, down below, you're seeing some forearms and some Wolverine claws. You may be thinking, isn't that a little bit weird? What does he have on him now if he doesn't have these fully jointed forearms? Well, you are in for a treat, my friend, because Hot Toys have done something absolutely incredible that I've been saying they should do for the longest time. Now, he does come with some swap-out jacket pieces, and one of the other really cool advancements here is that leather jacket is real leather. Now, this isn't the first time they've used real leather, but I hope it's honestly what they're going to do going forward, because we've seen it with the DX-10, we've seen it with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider. Every figure that has a leather jacket, I reckon y'all should just straight up make it out of leather. If you can do it here and with those other figures, you can do it going forward. Now, the display base is that circular centerpiece style base with a ton going on. You've got X-Men Days of Future Past Wolverine up front with this stunning blue X logo. Then up top, you've got some actual fake grass, which I think is a first by Hot Toys, but I absolutely love to see it. And the remnants of the bunker that of course was dumped on the field. It's got some rebar, it's got some concrete chunks, you've got piping, and you've got a bunch of metal sticking out everywhere. The sculpting is on point, it's dirty, it's grimy, there are washes in the crevices. It actually does a really good convincing job of looking like concrete. You also have a couple of scratch marks, so I'm sure if you wanted to, you could pose it as though Wolverine is bursting out of the bunker with the claws scratching at the edges. I love the way this looks, and it might just be one of my favorite diorama display bases ever. Quite curiously, instead of going with a dynamic bendy pole, they've gone with a regular crotch grabber stand piece, but they've inserted a waist clamp. That means you can have him standing straight up and down, or you can have him in a slightly more dynamic pose, like they have here on display. Now for me, I'm going to switch that piece out immediately and just use a regular crotch grabber, but this does open up a ton of possibilities when it comes to posing. His boots look absolutely stunning. They're weathered around the toe area, because I would imagine this era of Wolverine isn't the most wealthy chap, therefore he'd have a pair of boots that are knockabouts. They'd be a little bit more weathered. They're fully sculpted and painted, but they do a decent enough job of looking like leather boots. His jeans do have a little bit of an acid wash on the surface, some bright yellow stitching, and the texture does look like 1/6 scale shrunken down denim. Hot Toys are no stranger to making jeans at this point. They looked great with previous figures and they look great here too. Now the belt unfortunately does look like it's made of pleather. It's rather thin, there are multiple layers, there are some X stitches on the front, a really nice touch and something I didn't notice when I saw the movie, plus the belt buckle does have a ton of detail. The belt buckle, I would suppose, is fully sculpted, but the rest of it does look to be a very thin piece of pleather. I would have loved to have seen real leather here, just like the jacket, but I guess we can't really have everything. As you saw earlier, he does come with a black shirt, but you also get this one, which is very clearly the more fashionable of the two. It does have this feather print, it's a little bit faded, but I still think it suits this look really nicely, and it looks really faithful to what we saw on screen. Now, back to those forearms that we discussed in the accessory segment. This is what the figure is currently wearing, and oh my word, this looks incredible. Finally, Hot Toys have figured out a way of doing completely seamless hands and forearms. That's right, no wrist pegs. Now, some people I'm sure are heading down to the comments saying, no, why did they do this? I can't move the hands up and down, and yes, I totally hear you. But let's be honest, if you're using the clawed hands, he's probably going to be clawing. And this absolutely gets that done. There is a ton of skin texture here, there is a ton of vein work, plus there is some hair strands fully sculpted in, and the paint applications are gorgeous. This is something that I hope to see going forward because I love the way this looks. It's super seamless, which means it looks even more realistic. No, this isn't made of rubber, it's fully sculpted out of plastic. Plus, if you want to pose the wrists, you can simply use the other forearms, although those ones aren't painted. Now, moving on to the head sculpt, this also looks really, really good. That's 100% Hugh Jackman from Days of Future Past, and I think this is a brand new head sculpt. The hair looks different, the expression is different, and there is a lot of skin texture here. You also have that strand of hair hanging down, and his mouth is slightly open. There is no debate, this, in my mind, is the best Wolverine head sculpt that we have ever seen. And it's kind of fitting because the previous best Wolverine head sculpt was also from Days of Future Past. I really would love to see a Logan figure now that Hot Toys are stepping back into the Fox X-Men movies, but this could potentially be just a one-off. I'm really hoping that it isn't, because those X-Men movies were a big part of my childhood growing up. I would love to fill out a display of X-Men figures. But for now, Hot Toys seems laser focused on Wolverine, which isn't a bad thing because doing a display of Wolverine throughout the eras is also kind of cool. If they are going to stick to Wolvie, I still hope to have a bunch more different varieties. There are still quite a few looks that Hot Toys are yet to make. But for now, yeah, this one is very, very easily right up there with some of my favorite Wolverine figures ever made. It could even top the list, but we will have to wait and see when this guy eventually releases. Now, if you are looking to pre-order, I have popped the link to toyswonderland.com in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and a points-based reward system. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe and bell notification icon, as well as the join button for more info on Justin's Collection Plus, if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.